All right, let's talk about something that I think a lot of us can relate to, that feeling of constant chaos at work. But what if, and this is a big what if, you could actually turn all that chaos from a massive headache into your biggest competitive edge? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
So let me ask you straight up. Does your workday feel like you're just jumping from one fire to the next? That constant scramble? If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone. So many companies get stuck in that exact same loop. Okay, now get ready for this number because it's pretty shocking. A lot of organizations are wasting a staggering 40%, sometimes even more, of their resources just on, well, firefighting. Just think about that for a second. What could your team do with all that time and money back in your pocket? And that really brings us to what we're calling the 40% problem. We're going to break this down not just as some random statistic, but as this huge hidden cost of inefficiency that's really dragging businesses down.
You know, that 40%, it's not just a number on a report. We're talking about real time, real money, and real talent just being thrown at fixing mistakes over and over again instead of, actually creating something new. It's like this giant invisible hole in the bucket that most companies don't even realize is there.
So, okay, how do you even spot this chaos? What does this 40% problem actually feel like when you're in the thick of it, day in and day out? And yeah, this pretty much nails it. These are the classic symptoms. First, you've got that constant firefighting, right? Every single day is just about tackling the next emergency. And what does that lead to? Costly rework, because nothing gets done right the first time. Then you have these just clunky, broken processes everywhere. And the thing holding it all together, or rather making it all fall apart, terrible communication between teams. Everyone's in their own little silo and nobody's talking. All right, so we've laid out the problem, we know what the symptoms look like. Enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the solution. And that's where something called CM2 comes in. It's a framework built to bring back clarity and, honestly, a sense of control.
So, what is CM2 exactly? Well, it stands for Configuration Management 2. Now, you might have heard of configuration management before. It was usually this thing stuck over in engineering, just tracking different versions of parts and docs. But that II is super important. It means this is the next level. It's not just for engineering, it's a game plan for the entire business. The goal is what they call integrated process excellence, which is a fancy way of saying all your departments and all your processes are finally working together, smoothly. It's about having one unified playbook for how the whole company runs and changes. And this is really the key takeaway here. CM2 isn't just some dusty technical process. Not at all. It's a full-on business strategy. It affects everyone, from marketing to the folks on the factory floor, all the way up to the C-suite. Think of it like upgrading the entire operating system of your business. I really like this breakdown because it just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, the old way, total chaos. On the CM2 side, a structured, closed-loop process. Instead of all that expensive rework, you get clear requirements right from the beginning. And best of all, you turn that inefficiency that was dragging you down into a real, actual competitive advantage. It's a total 180 in how you operate. So you're probably wondering, how does this all actually work? Well, it really all comes down to one core idea: the power of having solid, valid requirements. The whole system is basically built on three simple, powerful rules for every requirement in the business. Number one, make it clear, no room for guessing. Number two, keep it concise, short, sweet, to the point. And number three, make sure it's valid and that it stays valid through the whole process. And this quote just hammers that point home, doesn't it? The main goal is to make sure all requirements for your products, your services, the business itself stay clear, concise, and valid all the time. It's this relentless focus on the quality of the information you're working with because that is the absolute foundation of an efficient company. You get that piece right, and everything else starts to fall into place. Okay, so what's the big payoff here? What's the end game? In this last part, we're going to see how putting this all into practice can take that big liability, all that chaotic change, and flip it into a seriously powerful asset for your business. And this is it. This is the whole point. CM2 lets you take change itself, the very thing that was causing all that waste and chaos, and turn it into your greatest strength. Suddenly, your ability to adapt isn't just about damage control. It becomes the reason you're beating the competition. When it comes down to it, this isn't about just putting band-aids on problems. It's about getting to the root cause. You fix the communication breakdowns. You learn to handle change with speed and precision. And this is the big one, you get to reclaim all those wasted resources and point them at the stuff that actually matters, like growth and coming up with the next big thing.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Let's go all the way back to that first number we talked about. Seriously, think about it. If you could get back 40% of your company's time, money, and brain power, what could you actually build? What new products could you launch? What new markets could you enter? What incredible ideas could you finally bring to life? That's the real power of shifting from chaos to clarity.